Hello, and welcome to another episode of Adamo Baseball, where I'm your host, Adamo. And this is easily the first episode of the preseason where I didn't have to research a single player. I actually am familiar enough with the Washington Nationals and the players coming in and going out that I don't even have to. Like, so when I did my Braves episode, I said that I thought that the Braves were going to get one of the wild card spots, probably the second one, and that the Nats are going to win the division. I still think that's true. I do. I believe that. And the Washington Nationals, they've got the talent all the way across the board. Pitching, hitting, and something they haven't had in years past, bullpen. Davey Martinez is still there. They had a reliever the other day, no longer on the team, who left for personal reasons. Jeff Jeffers. By the time this episode airs, those personal reasons may or may not have come out yet. I don't know. But frankly, that's between him and the team. That's none of our business. They still have plenty of bullpen help. So, yes, this Nationals team, don't sleep on them. So I have decided, I think I know what's going to happen for the National League. I did my research for the NL Central, which was like my last undecided division, and it's definitely a weaker division this year. Yeah, 4 teams from that division made the playoffs last year. How many times have those words been said in history? But the NL Central is going to take a massive step back, and I think the Cardinals are going to win it, probably with the worst division record of any division winner. That being said, I don't know if they'll have a better or worse record than the Angels, and I still think the Angels are going to win the AL West. So here's what I think is going to happen. Padres versus the Braves in the wild card. Padres win that game. Dodgers are still probably going to be the number 1 seed. Change my mind. Then you got the Nats versus the Cardinals in the NLDS, 2 versus 3. I think the Nats win that series. They're better. They're more experienced in the postseason. The Cards are not what they were 10 years ago. That being the last time they won the World Series. And I think the Nats played the Dodgers in the National League Championship Series. I know I originally said I thought the Padres would, but the math just doesn't work. So I think the Dodgers get past the Padres in the division series because it'll be 1 versus 4 or 1 versus the wild card, and I think the Padres are going to be the wild card, and I think the Dodgers are going to have the best record. Probably in baseball again. Though I wouldn't put it on the Dodgers to repeat. As it stands right now, I don't know that they get past the Nats. That is entirely contingent on the Nationals staying healthy. I will stand by that. That is entirely contingent on the Nationals' health. Though I think the Nats actually have a legit shot at making the World Series this year. You can quote me on that. And here's why. Starting off with the lineup. Leading off, Trey Turner, shortstop. So when he first came into the league a couple of years ago, he had a few maturity issues, but he has since lightened up. He has definitely come into his own. He is far better of a player than he was. And I think that he actually is a pretty good leadoff guy. He's definitely matured from where he was a couple of years ago. He's got a World Series ring, so he knows how to win. It's just fun watching him at shortstop. The dude almost looks like he's standing up straight, except he's already jumped in the air as he's throwing. He was given advice by Cal Ripken Jr. himself how to be the best infielder, on that side. And you expect him to say things like, set your feet, grab the ball, make sure that you've got control, blah, 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 blah. Number 8's advice was throw the ball to first. That's it. Didn't say anything else. And Trey Turner took it to heart. So, yeah. He's a great fielder, and he actually is a pretty good leadoff guy because he does have speed. Batting second, though, I think I'd either put him cleanup or fifth, if I'm being totally honest. Juan Soto, right field. He's played left field a lot in his career, so don't be shocked to see him play out in left. But they got him out in right. They got him hitting second. But don't be shocked if they move him around in the lineup a bit too, because he hits for power, but he also has a shot at winning the batting title. So he does know what he's doing. He's a great hitter. And when they drafted him, they knew he was going to be a big time bat. Batting third, Josh Bell, first base. So this is the bat that the Nationals picked up to try to make up for the lost offense from Anthony Rendon getting signed away. Now, I don't blame the Nationals choosing to re-sign Strasburg instead of Anthony Rendon. Honestly, both players have the same upside. One's a pitcher, one's a hitter, and specifically third baseman. And because of the luxury tax, because of the cap room, they just had to make a decision, and they chose Strasburg. I don't blame them for that, and it didn't sound like there were any hard feelings for Rendon. And Rendon is in good position to be able to win now, too. So I think that ended up working out for both sides. But Josh Bell is who they brought in to try to make up some of that lost offense. And he didn't have a great 2020. There's no denying that. But then again, the Pirates didn't have a great 2020. And Josh Bell does have a pretty big bat. He may strike out a little bit more than we might like, but I think, by we, I mean fans, but I think that Josh Bell is going to pay off, and I think it's going to pay off in a big way. Batting cleanup, Kyle Schwarber, left field. They got him on a one-year contract. So if they're moving Juan Soto over to right, it's only because they want Schwarber over in left so that they can get his bat in the lineup. When the Cubs won the World Series in 2016, he was one of the guys that got them there. And yeah, Joe Madden did everything he could to keep Schwarber's bat in the lineup that whole season. So it makes sense that he'd be batting cleanup. Though if they moved him to second in the lineup, I'm not David Martinez. I'm not going to pretend to be, but, that's just my thoughts. Batting fifth, Starlin Castro, second base. He was the best Marlin for quite a while. And him getting into play with the Nats actually is very good for Washington. So, yeah, look out for this guy. Especially at second base, because you don't get a lot of second basemen who can hit the way he can. Batting sixth, Yan Gomes. So, a few years ago they had Wilson Ramos as their starting catcher, and he was a solid number one guy at catcher. Well, they've been kind of catcher by committee last few years. Kurt Suzuki kind of brought stability to it, but he just got signed away. I think he went to the Angels. So it looks like they're going all in on Yan Gomes. Basically, to stop the whole catcher by committee thing, just say, hey, this is our guy. And batting sixth in the lineup in the National League, it's like batting seventh in the American League. So really, can't really blame him for having him bat sixth. Batting seventh, Victor Robles, center field. He's on the team for fielding purposes. I'd like to see his batting average be a bit higher. He's not a hit for power kind of hitter. But then again, when they signed him, they did not sign him to a lot of money. It was like $250K. It was like the league minimum at the time. And he ended up paying off far more than they expected. And that's why he's kept his starting spot in center field. He usually bats around 240, 245, so not great for a center fielder. But then again, better than some center fielders. Better than Jackie Bradley Jr. So honestly, I would want to have Victor Robles in the lineup for the sake of just being a great center fielder. He's not there for his bat. He's there for his glove, and he does his job well. Batting eighth, Carter Kieboom, third base. So he doesn't have Rendon's offense, but he does have at least some element of Rendon's defense. This is his make or break season. He's been with the Nats for, I think this is his fourth year. This is his year. If he doesn't, or if he can't bring it to the fold this year, they may be looking somewhere else for a third baseman. This is his shot. Because for the first couple of years, he was utilized more as a fill-in guy. Last year, they're willing to give him the benefit of the doubt because it was 2020, and I think I've gone ad nauseum about how 2020 was 2020. So, yeah, we'll see if he can scrap together some offense, at the very least better offense than he has been up to this point. The lineup is very power heavy. It's got a lot of hits. It's got a lot of runs. It may not score 900 this year, but you're looking at an offense that can put up some runs. So don't be surprised if they're leading the National League in runs scored at some point. Rotation, it's no secret. This has been the Nats' real strong suit for a few years now. Top of the lineup, Max Scherzer. He's only got so much time left. I think this is his last year. That may be next year on his contract, but I think it's this year. This is his last real shot at winning as a National. Because if it is his contract year, the Nats probably aren't going to re-sign him just because he's been around so long. I think this is his age 36 season. And look, I think he's a 2-time, 3-time Cy Young winner at this point. He's got a World Series ring. He's played in 2. He's done everything there is to do. You can't ask for more from the guy. Second in the rotation, Steven Strasburg. Go figure. The guy that they risked Anthony Rendon to keep. If Scherzer wasn't in the rotation, Strasburg would be the number 1. He has been for a while, and yeah. Third in the rotation, guy they signed right before 2019 to try to build that winner, Patrick Corbin. They got him from Arizona, and yeah, he'd be a top-end 2 starter in most rotations. And they got him 3 because that's where they found room for him. Pitching fourth in the rotation, this was an interesting pickup to me, and I was really surprised by it. It's only a 1-year deal, and I don't blame them for it, but this guy's done everything. John Lester. For a lot of years, he was considered the best lefty in baseball. He won the 2007 World Series with the Red Sox. He won the 2013 World Series with the Red Sox. He won the 2016 World Series with the Cubs. Now he's got a shot at a fourth ring with the Nationals because, yes, they do have that good a team this year. And he's fourth in the rotation. He's been the ace in a lot of rotations. And we consider when he started his career, he had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and missed an entire season because of it. If there is any player in baseball that you consider a comeback player, it's him. He has done just about everything. I think he's got a Cy Young under his belt. I don't know. He's got enough accolades that he actually has a legit case at the Hall of Fame. He's not usually the first guy you think of whenever you think of a Hall of Fame contender, but he has the credentials. And I think they got him on a one-year contract. I honestly believe that after this year, that's it. They're probably not they're done. He's probably just going to go, you know what? I think I've done it. I've done all that there is to do. And yeah. Fifth in the rotation. This really isn't a fifth guy. Joe Ross. He's officially labeled as the fifth rotation starter. He's not really a starter because when they use Joe Ross, it's because they're doing bullpen days, and he's more or less just their opener. They'll have him for 2 innings maybe, or they'll have him as a long reliever after using an opener for about 2 innings. He's not great. In fact, he's good enough for a fifth guy in a rotation, mostly because you just need a fifth guy. And when you consider the top 4 guys in their rotation, there's not as much pressure on him. So he may actually have a pretty decent year, but he's not going to be anything fantastic. That really is like the one hole for the Nationals. But when you got 4 potential superstars at pitcher, you can risk the 5 guy. Their closer is Brad Hand. Okay, Cleveland gave up Francisco Mejia, their catcher, their top number 1 prospect, to get Brad Hand when they went for a World Series, when they were going all in. And I think in 2016, when they were 1 win away from the World Series in 2016. And he's been good. He's been as advertised the whole time he's been a closer. So he really is the kind of guy you want closing for anybody. And then the rest of the bullpen, Tanner Rainey, Daniel Hudson, Will Harris. Tanner Rainey and Will Harris Tanner Rainey specifically, he was kind of just they need somebody in the bullpen for a while. So he was good enough, but he wasn't great. Daniel Hudson is who the Nats picked up to be their closer when Sean Doolittle was struggling 2 years ago, and Daniel Hudson was one of the reasons they won it. So if you've got him holding the 8th inning, maybe the 7th, to get to Brad Hand as the closer, or if Brad Hand's been pitching every day for a week, they usually don't do that, but if he's been in a bunch of tight games for 3 or 4 in a row, they may use Daniel Hudson for the closer role. Will Harris, he's the one guy in the bullpen I'm actually not as familiar with, but I know that they've had him, and when I looked him up, well, like I said, I didn't really do research for this episode, but, I've looked him up in the past, basically just to see what there was. And mostly he's kind of just in the event that you need him more than anything else. But their bullpen is actually pretty good. Like, this is the first time in a long time the Nationals have had a good, strong bullpen. They got at least 3, if not 4 guys that can get them there. And when you got 4 stud pitchers in your rotation, you got 4 home run hitters in your lineup. You got a solid leadoff guy, and you got 3 other guys that can at least do their job on the field. You've got a winner. So honestly, this team could go to the World Series. In fact, you heard it here. I am picking the Washington Nationals to play the New York Yankees in the World Series. If I am wrong, I am man enough to admit it. And I'm looking right into the camera so you can see me seeing you say that. I think that they got a legit shot. And I think they're going to win the NL East. And I'm not going to regret that for 1 second. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And I will say it here first. Those are my thoughts. If you'd like to let me know your thoughts, you can do so down in the comments below. And I have an Instagram, so you can let me know your thoughts there if you're listening to it on my podcast, Adam O Baseball. It's an underscore after the O, not a hyphen. With that being said, thank you for listening. Cheers until next time.